What's up, Ramzz? Welcome back to the channel. So for today we have yet another Mortal Kombat 11 video, and for today's video luckily we don't have any leaks or anything like that. Instead what we have is something that I used to do before all the leaks started coming out, and that is covering MK11 articles. So for today we have an article by What Culture Gaming called the 10 reasons why Mortal Kombat 11 is the best NetherRealm Studios game. Now before we get to that, be sure to smash that subscribe button if you haven't already. So with that being said, let's get right into the video. Alright guys, so yeah, before all the leaks started coming out, I used to cover articles that would come out for NRS games, whether it was Mortal Kombat 11 or Injustice. Like there was a bunch of articles saying Injustice 3, 5 characters that shouldn't return and things like that. So those were always fun to cover because then we would have a discussion in the comments section. And luckily, since leaks have been kind of slow lately, we got to do this again. But before we get to those reasons, let's get to the comments of the day. So first up we have, do you think Cetron should get a Poison Ivy skin if Harley came out? I mean, they are besties. Honestly, I think Cetron should get a Poison Ivy skin regardless, because if you put Cetron and Poison Ivy side by side, they look so alike it's not even funny. Next up we have, Rams, have you played any of the classic MK games? Unfortunately, I haven't. The only MK games I've ever played are MK9, MKX, and MK11. I know that there's a bunch of other Mortal Kombat games like Deception or whatnot, and those are all for like the really old gen consoles, but let me tell you, back when I had a PS2, the only games I would play was Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, skateboarding games, and racing games. That was it, guys. And lastly we have NRS, give us some news already. Luckily, the Sony event is in just a few days, where it's rumored that we're gonna get a Kombat Pack 3 trailer, but if that doesn't happen, we are definitely getting some news from MK11 at the DC Fandom event in just under 3 weeks, so don't worry, we are definitely getting some news soon. Anyway guys, let's get to the article. So number 10 we have, their most balanced game yet. This one, a lot of people might agree and disagree with, but I read their explanation on why and it's pretty good. So they say that, listening to feedback, NetherRealm decided to make MK11 a much slower game that required a greater deal of patience and planning, which I fully agree with. It says, only a few characters having access to 50/50s. Yeah guys, honestly, look, I'm a 50/50 character type player. I love the characters who have 50/50s, and this article is right, not a lot of them have 50/50s in MK11. For example, Sub-Zero, he's such a great 50/50 character. Sindel also, she's a really good 50/50 character, and Nightwolf also has a pretty good set of mix-up with his 50/50s. So it's like really limited. I mean, while in games like MKX, dude, every character had 50/50s. So they definitely did a change in that aspect. So honestly, for that, I will agree. Anyways, at number 9 we have incredibly detailed animations. Yeah, obviously, like as time goes on, we're gonna get better quality games, so that one just obviously makes sense. And that's also a reason why I really love playing MK11, because the graphics are so crisp and clear, the animations are so good, and it gives a really good feeling. At number 8 we have a great level of customization. Yes, but if you're gonna talk about all of NRS as it says in the article, I would disagree, because I think Injustice 2 has better customization than MK11. They have shaders, they have more gear options, they have well, the abilities, obviously both of them have it, but guys, like, just if you look at the shaders and the gear options alone, Injustice 2 kills MK11 in that aspect. So that one I would disagree with. I'm pretty sure that would go to Injustice 2, the best customization out of all their games. And number 7 we have the best selection of DLC. This one is also going to be pretty controversial, because obviously, like, some people will agree with this, some won't. Honestly, I think that MKX had better DLC characters in terms of gameplay. But if you're going to tell me fan service, it might be MK11, because dude, we got Fujin, we got Shiva, Shang Tsung, Spawn, who has been requested for like a decade. So if you're gonna tell me fan service, I would agree with MK11, but in terms of gameplay, dude, MKX, man, Leatherface, Alien, Jason, Predator, all such amazing characters to play as. And number 6 we have the best gore of the series. Yeah, that one I will agree with, guys. The gore in MK11 is ridiculous. Their fatalities, the brutalities are all so good. Especially Garrus, he has this fatality that is completely gross, man. He like rips your body in half by pulling it from your hand. I don't know, it's some weird thing that just looks disgusting. So yeah, that I will agree with. And number 5, we have a great and varied roster. Yeah, this one, look guys, I will agree with. I know a lot of people are gonna be like, oh, but how we don't have Melina, Ermac, Smoke, Reptile. I know, but we've gotten them all in previous games, so what does it matter? On top of that, this roster has introduced so many new characters like Garrus, Chronica, Cetrion, that I would agree with this roster being probably one of their most varied rosters out of all. And number 4, we have the most expansive crypt yet. That one, I think we could all agree with. The crypt in MK11 is ridiculously big. On top of that, there's crypt events every certain amount of time, and it is so much, guys. It is like almost endless. I don't even think I'm like I'm probably like halfway done, but I'm definitely not at least like even 75% done. I still have a lot to go in the crypt. And number 3, we have a greatly improved online experience. A greatly improved and pretty toxic online experience. But guys, that is with every game. In every game, if you play online and you beat someone, you will probably get a message saying that you're garbage and you're trash, even though you did win. But that is just the toxicity of online gaming. So that's not specifically tied to Mortal Kombat. But aside from that, yeah, I definitely love the MK11 online experience. The fatalities are so awesome. On top of that, obviously, like everything else runs pretty smoothly. It's pretty fluent. So that one I will agree with. And number 2, we have the largest and most outrageous story. This one is also going to be pretty controversial because a lot of people will probably agree in saying that MKX had the better story. And obviously, because MKX, what did we get? We got the death of Melina. We got introduced to Kotal Khan. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of argument in that one, because a lot of people will definitely prefer MKX, but me personally, I think MK11 had the best story mode. Especially with the Aftermath expansion, it was so good. I at least enjoyed it so much. So that one I would definitely agree with in saying that MK11 has the best story mode. And at number 1, we have deep and complex tutorial modes. Now, I'm going to be honest, and I'm not trying to brag, but I didn't even do the tutorial modes because really I don't need it. I picked up the game pretty fast. On top of that, I did the beta. I had the beta before the game's release, so I already got a pretty good hang of how the gameplay works. But I do know that the tutorial modes now are super like explicatory. They explain everything. They tell you about frame data, they tell you about punishes, about counters, about everything. So yeah, I would definitely agree in that as well, saying that the tutorial mode is super helpful, especially to new players. But anyway guys, let me know which ones, what points you agree with, what points you don't agree with, why or why not in the comment section down below. Other than that, be sure to stay subscribed for more videos just like this one. Thank you for watching, and peace.